Me am Mubara, and if you want to learn Spanish fast, if you are under pressure or if you get bored quickly, do not repeat my mistakes, especially number 1 and number 5. Number 1 being, do not use ChatGPT. In my previous video I was like, how can I make a plan, right? How can I learn a whole language really quickly? And it was really hard to figure that out. That's why I resorted to ChatGPT, and I thought that's like a really great idea. It turned out to be a really bad one. It's gonna spit out really random things. It's gonna tell you, oh, this week do this and this other week do that, but none of it is truly structured, and each one of them is gonna link to a different resource, and you're gonna be lost with so many different websites and no real sense of progress and where you really are in the language. Hence why number 2 comes in. Do not try to perfect things since the beginning. I tried that, it didn't work. I even tried to not do that and it still kinda did it. That's why I ended up with ChatGPT. But if I can go back in time, I would rather use something basic to learn the basics, just like Duolingo. It's really enough in the beginning. I would use Duolingo to get the basics, and that would get my foot in the door, and then from there I can make a different plan. There are books for specific things, podcasts, so many YouTube resources, etc. But for the basics, really, I felt like Duolingo does a really good job. And that's where we transition to number 3, or 3, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below which one you use. Duolingo is not perfect, right? Duolingo, many people have opinions about it. Some people advise for it, some people hate it, but I had to experience it for myself after trying so much to find a starting point. And I feel like it's really good to get the basics. It helped me so well, like having a sense of progress and finding everything together in the same place, at least the basics, right? It has some downsides, of course. Sometimes it can mix accents between one slide and the other, so you transition between very different accents and voices from not even one section to the other, just from one slide to the other in one test, and that can be really confusing. And also it can mix between, like, how can I say, Spanish, or Spain Spanish, and Mexican or Latin American Spanish. So one time you're learning this and the other time you're learning that. I know because I had to ask friends about this, and they were like, yeah, it's this one is for this and that one for there. So you need to be careful about that. That's why mixing it with other resources is definitely crucial, and focusing on the one that you need. Spain Spanish or Latin Spanish. And of course it's not going to be enough, once you get the basics, once your foot is in the door, you can mix it with other resources. There are like books for specific things, grammar, podcasts for different levels, but as long as your foot is in the door, it's going to be much easier since then. That's why perfectionism in the beginning is not really helpful, and even if I try to avoid it, I still ended up there. So don't repeat my mistakes, please. Number 4, and actually number 5, because they are super related. Use Anki since the beginning. Anki is a software that you can put in some words and their meanings, create your own dictionary as you're going into Duolingo or whatever you're using to learn, any new words, and add to it, and then it creates kind of quizzes or something, like tests for you to go back to and revise the words and make sure you actually can remember them. I made this mistake, it's a big mistake, that I just used some like random note app, and that didn't help me get back into the words because they became so many, like a few hundred or something, and revising that is not as easy as using Anki. And then also setting up Anki after reaching that point is also not easy because you have to enter each one again. So if I just had used Anki since the beginning, my life would have been much easier, and I would have saved time and effort, and I would have actually learned even better. So yeah, definitely use Anki. And number 5, which is why it's related to it, use Anki for memorizing words in both sides. So make sure you understand a word in English, you remember the word in English, but also the word in Spanish. You know how to write it. You know that if it's feminine or masculine, la or el, etc. Because I also made the mistake of like thinking I can memorize the word, but then I didn't know how to write it, I didn't know how to spell it correctly, didn't know how to, if it's feminine or masculine, so I would mix la with something, el hombre, for example, or el mujer, which is it doesn't make any sense. it's not gonna help you in the long run. So getting that foundation in the beginning in the correct way is very, very crucial, and it's gonna pay off in the long run. I feel like this video can really be applied to any language, not only Spanish. That's why titling this video was not easy, but please let me know in the comments below if you like this video. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video where I share even more insights from my journey. See you soon.